Now we're given the function f. Here's the function. Right? We're giving it a name, so instead of trying to write the whole table every time, we just call it f. So we're giving it in table form this time. Now what we want to do is find f of -8 and then f of +8. So first of all, how about if we find f of -8? Now, you know that -8, that's a domain value, that's an input. And the inputs, those come from the x columns, the left column. So look for -8. Here it is right here. So this function says to take a -8 and convert it to -10. And what do you do with the +8? So you look for +8. It gets mapped to 16. There we go. There's both those parts. This time we're given the function in terms of a graph, right? So we've been given in terms of symbolic expressions, then sets of ordered pairs, then the function in terms of a table. Now we're given the function in terms of a graph, and we're asked to find what is the function value if the input is 4. So if you input 4, now the inputs are the x values, right? So come over here to the x's, look for a 4, follow it down to the graph. It looks like it's -1. So let's say then that f of 4 is -1. When the input is 4, the output is -1. So if you start at the origin, you go over to 4, this tells you go down to -1. Problem 45 gives us a function in terms of a graph. So we've got this straight line rising. And what we want to do in part A is this. For what value of x, right, so for what value of x, we want to find x, is f of x equal to 2. Now remember, that whole collection of symbols is an output. So we're given the output. The output is 2. What input produces 2 as the output? So this is the output. The output is 2. The output are the verticals. So come up to 2 on the vertical. Now follow it over. Graph's a little small here, but if I follow it over and down, it looks like it's a 1. So what it look like to you if all right, the output is 2. The output is 2. So go to the output axis right here. The output is 2. Follow it over the graph and down. I'm going to claim that x equals 1. So when x equals 1, right, does it make sense? If I go to x equals 1, follow to the graph, the output is 2. Seems to work. And in part B, we want to know for what value of x, all right, so again, we're going to find which x value. So which one of these x values gives us an output, right? F of x is the output. It's like y, but now we write f of x. For which value of x is the output equal to 1? So go to the output axis and locate 1. Looks like it's right there. Follow it over. Well, it's right on there. We're right on the graph. So it looks like 0, right? If you put in 0, you get a 1. So I think we should write x equals 0 here. And in part C, for what value of x, so again, we want to find an x value. Which one of these x values will give us an output of 0? So remember, the outputs are the verticals. So look for a vertical of 0. That looks like it's right here. That graph's a little bit small, but the vertical is 0, is right here, right? That vertical is right on that, it looks like -1, all right? So I'm going to say that x is -1. So if you put in a -1, go to the left 1, you go up or down 0.